Hey guys, Kyle the Dead Knight of Anime here, bringing you my manga review for One Piece chapter 878. Yeah, I guess just disregard that whole video I made about my manga reviews being late, because I guess I'm not sure if this is usually when they come out, or... Well, as far as my release goes, it's usually on Thursday. I'm not sure if that's the usual date, but I guess they came out early, I guess, this time around, but I don't know. But yeah, let's get into it. And the first part of this chapter is a flashback of during Roger's time when Roger recruited Lord Odin to come to his crew, and we see a young Pedro asking to join Roger's crew. And the one thing about that is and the one thing about that curious thing is that when you really get down to it, both Pedro and Roger kind of chose to live the life the exact same way. They were both marked for death, and yet they both chose to live their lives the way they wanted, and under their and chose to die under and said to themselves if they were going to die, they were going to die under their own fucking terms. They weren't going to let anything like fate or destiny decide when when they themselves were going to die. Now, one could argue that in the end it was Roger's fate was kind of predetermined already, and he couldn't escape his illness. But yeah, it just seeing how both these men chose to live their lives almost exactly the same way. Like, you can almost see that there was sort of a that it's one of those times where Roger was sort of like that Roger was very much an inspiration to Pedro, and Pedro had learned from Roger's words, and he said, "Yeah, if I'm gonna die," he especially took those words to heart after Big Mom decided to take away a good chunk of Pedro's lifespan. So, yeah, it is interesting how both Pedro and Roger ended up in very similar circumstances. Especially after Pedro's whole run-in with Big Mom, definitely for sure. But yeah, and another thing that was really interesting about this chapter was Luffy. Like, Luffy's development as a captain, specifically as a captain in this chapter, was just fucking amazing. I mean, we all know Luffy at the end of the day, he holds the title of captain of the Straw Hat Crew. That's one thing that's been made clear time and time again. But here, the decisions he made, like having the Sunny take off while staying behind to fight Katakuri, and breaking the mirror escape, which by the way we're going to get into as well, that was all strictly for the safety of his crew. No other motive than that, and to me, that just speaks volumes about his both awareness of just what awareness of the opportunity that was given to them, to pretty much just awareness of the opportunity that was given to them for basically the escape, and his integrity. Like, we all know Luffy cares about his crew at the end of the day, but this, I believe, was the purest. Was like Luffy suddenly realized that, okay, we are fucking out of our league. We have what we came here to do. We need to get the fuck out of here. So yeah, it just speaks volumes of who Luffy is as a captain, not just as a pirate, but as a pirate captain, and just how he came to realize that, okay, we are just, yeah, we definitely need to get the fuck out of here. And yeah, I feel that was just one thing that was pushed forth in this episode. Definitely that Luffy just, he, in this one single chapter, he evolved more as a captain than I think he has during the entirety of this whole post time skip. Like, I know he's had a lot of development as well in this second half of the series, but in this one single chapter, I think this kind of cements just how far he really has come, in how much he has learned that, yeah, the new world ain't nothing to fuck with, so we need to pick our battles carefully. And I guess some would argue in a way that Luffy hasn't really learned anything, but you have to understand that we've already seen it. We've already seen it, and I don't know why people were even complaining about it. Is that Luffy he couldn't defeat Big Mom? He's not ready for that levels. But now I'm sure he is. I'm sure he could take on one of his under one of now he does have the capability of taking on one of Big Mom's underlings, but Big Mom herself, Big Mom completely out of her league, and I do like how Big Mom isn't necessarily going to be defeated here, but actually, now that I'm looking at the chat, it does make me realize with actually now that I think about it, not I believe the Sanji is still on this island now that I'm thinking about it, so it could possibly be the Skywalk that I wonder if Sanji can maintain the Skywalk, I bet that's what's probably going to be his escape route. Honestly, like I think Luffy's going to find another kind of way. I bet how it's going to work is Luffy's going to find like the he's going to find the he's going to find as far as Luffy's escape route goes. I bet my bottom dollar that he's probably going to find like he's gonna find the mirror world with a kitchen or something, and then Luffy and Sanji are probably gonna team up from there, and they're probably gonna escape together. Right? That's just my prediction on it. Yeah, that just came right out of nowhere. But I just realized that hey, Sanji's still on the island, so he's still here in order to escape. So yeah, it should to escape with Luffy. So yeah, there's that too. Um, and And I guess, and now the Luffy versus Katakuri fight setup. Now, honestly, we all know Luffy is the main character. We all know he will survive by the end of the series, but at the same time, this is why I love One Piece, is because it puts Luffy in situations that have us questioning how he's going to get out of these tight spots. Now, as far as the fight itself, from what we saw that brief little tussle with Luffy and Katakuri, it seems Luffy has found a way to contain in order to contain in order to contain the devil fruit in order to contain the man's devil fruit powers, but I'm curious to see how he's going to use that knowledge to his advantage, because if I was to place a wager, it's going to be something in the vein of a technique where Luffy's going to contain Katakuri's powers to the point where it'll allow Luffy to land a good solid punch on him. I I do imagine it's going to be in that same vein, because we all know that just landing a punch on Katakuri, it isn't going to work. So you do need to contain his powers first in order to fight him. And I think Katakuri even mentioned that in passing, that yeah. So you actually know enough in order to that I won't be able to escape your grasp. So yeah, I do imagine there's going to be something in that sort of vein. Uh, and like I said, as far as Luffy's escape from the mirror world, like I said, I think like I said, I'm pretty sure the mirror world is whatever it is, whatever it is, whether or not Sanji plays a part, which I imagine he is going to help, in terms of Luffy getting away. Uh, I imagine how it's going to work is that Luffy, like I said, the mirror world is going to play a major part in Luffy's escape. I imagine Oda he doesn't introduce anything without a purpose, and I imagine after this fight is done, Luffy is going to use the mirror world to his advantage in order to escape. Like uh, and but and I imagine, like, if like I said, if it's anything, I imagine that what's gonna happen is that Luffy is gonna find the mirror world route to the kitchen, probably, which is where which is where Sanji, which is where Sanji putting in, which is where Sanji putting in the and Chiffon are making the cake, and I imagine there's gonna be a bit of comedy there, and I imagine after the cake is made, they're gonna feed it to Big Mom, and then Luffy Luffy and Sanji are gonna get the fuck out of Dodge. I think that's probably what's gonna happen. Just gonna get the fuck out of Dodge. Either that, or I don't know. I really don't want, like, I really don't want Big Mom to have a freaking change of heart and say, okay, you can borrow one of my ships to escape. I really hope that just doesn't happen, because I'm just, yeah, I hope it just goes down the route of Luffy and Sanji manage to steal one of the ships and escape, or or Luffy uses, or Sanji uses the skywalk to escape. But yeah, who knows? Like, I do imagine Sanji's going to be part of it, because he is still on the island, of course. But yeah, that's all my theory. You just take away what you can from it. Also, one final thing to talk about: Pero Sparrow. Okay, this guy truly is a fucking monster. I mean, granted he was severely wounded, but to be able to survive that a fucking explosion from Pedro. Pedro, like, he suicide bombed himself in order to take up Pedro. And granted, Pedro was injured severely to the point where his powers were basically nullified. I'll say that's at least good enough. But seriously, Pedro surviving that just speaks leagues about how strong, or just alone how unbelievably resilient Big Mom's children are. Like, Big Mom herself is already a monster, but Big Mom, Big Mom's children, like Pedro surviving that, holy shit! If not even a fucking explosion could take out him, could you manage to take out one of Big Mom's children, then what the fuck is it gonna take? Holy crap! But yeah, and Big Mom herself was this jerk chomping down on the ship, which I thought was hilarious. But yeah, but wow, that just speaks volumes about the Big Mom crew. And but yeah, guys, that's pretty much my review. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe, or follow me on Twitter and Facebook. That Night of Anime, signing off. Later, guys.